Have you ever walked away from a conversation thinking, I wish I said that better? Maybe you've had moments where your voice didn't come out as strong as you wanted, or times when people misunderstood you, even though your intentions were clear in your head. The truth is, communication isn't just about saying words. It's about how those words land, how they make others feel, and how clearly they reflect what you really mean. In this video, we're going to break down what it takes to speak in a way that actually connects with people. Not just talking for the sake of it, but speaking in a way that builds trust, holds attention, and makes others want to listen. You'll learn how to manage your tone, use silence as a strength, ask better questions, and speak with more calm, confidence, and clarity, even when things get tough. This isn't about being perfect or sounding like someone you're not. It's about understanding the psychology behind powerful communication and learning real, practical ways to show up with your voice fully. Whether you struggle with speaking up, want to sound more confident, or simply want to make sure your words matter, this video is going to give you tools you can actually use. Stick around, because by the end, you won't just sound smarter, you'll feel more in control, more grounded, and more ready to say what you truly mean in every part of your life. Chapter 1. Master the basics of confident body language today. Confidence is not something you declare, it's something you demonstrate, and the very first thing people notice about you, often before you speak a single word, is your body language. Your posture, your movement, your presence, it communicates more than your words ever will. If your body speaks uncertainty, your message loses strength, no matter how clever your words are. But when your body speaks calm strength, everything you say gains weight. That's why mastering confident body language isn't a suggestion, it's a foundation. You begin there, or you don't begin at all. Confidence, real confidence, is built from the inside out, but it is seen from the outside in. When you walk into a room, you are already speaking. You are telling people how you feel about yourself, what you expect from the world, and whether you are a leader or a follower. The way you carry yourself tells people how they should treat you. If you hunch your shoulders, avoid eye contact, shuffle your feet, and keep your arms wrapped tightly around your body, you are telling the world you don't want to be seen, and the world listens. To master the basics of confident body language, you must first become aware of how you currently show up. Stand in front of a mirror and observe yourself, not with judgment, but with honesty. What do you see? Are your shoulders slouched? Is your chest collapsed inward? Are your eyes scanning the floor more than they're lifting up? Do your hands fidget? Notice everything. Awareness is the first step toward mastery. You can't improve what you don't recognize. The most fundamental posture of confidence is simple. Stand tall. Imagine a string pulling you upward from the top of your head. Keep your chin level with the ground. Shoulders back, not stiff, just relaxed and open. Chest lifted, not puffed out in arrogance, but upright in self-respect. Let your arms rest naturally at your sides. Keep your feet planted firmly, shoulder-width apart. Breathe fully, slowly. Let your breath settle deep into your belly, not up in your chest. This kind of breathing anchors you. It slows your racing thoughts. It puts you back into your body. From this stance, you are rooted, steady, present. This posture tells others, and more importantly, tells yourself, that you are grounded, that you belong where you are, that you are not rushing to escape yourself or the moment. You are calm. You are ready. You are open. That energy is powerful. That energy is memorable. But confidence is not only how you stand, it's how you move. Purposeful movement is a language of its own. When you enter a room, walk slowly, not too fast. Rushing signals anxiety. Slow, Steady steps signal control. When you reach out to shake someone's hand, do it firmly, not too tight, not limp, just firm. Look them in the eye when you greet them. When you gesture with your hands, keep your movements intentional. Don't fidget or wave your hands wildly. Use gestures to reinforce your words, not distract from them. Touch your face less. Fidget with your clothes less. These unconscious habits signal nervousness. You don't need to be perfect, you need to be present. And presence requires you to stay aware of what your body is doing. The more aware you are, the more you can direct your movements with intention. Another cornerstone of confident body language is space. Confident people take up space. They don't shrink themselves. They don't fold their arms across their chest or cross their legs tightly or lean away. They are comfortable being seen. That doesn't mean they're loud or dramatic. It means they are secure. When you sit, keep an open posture. Don't wrap yourself up like you're trying to disappear. Sit with your back straight, shoulders open, hands visible. When you stand, give yourself room to breathe and exist. This doesn't just affect how others see you, it affects how you feel about yourself. Your body influences your brain. When you hold yourself in a confident posture, your brain begins to respond. Your stress levels drop, your mood improves, your thinking clears, you literally begin to feel more confident. And from that feeling, your communication becomes sharper, bolder, more natural. This is not a trick, this is physiology. Your body and mind are not separate, they are parts of the same system. When you change how one behaves, the other adapts. You cannot separate psychology from physiology. This is why small shifts in posture can create massive shifts in how you think, how you speak, and how others respond to you. You also need to become comfortable with stillness. Confident people do not rush to fill every silence. They are not constantly adjusting their position. They do not look around the room to see who's watching. They stay grounded. They move with purpose. Stillness speaks power. A person who is at peace in their body radiates trust and credibility. And yet, this is not about trying to impress. Confident body language is not a performance. It is not something you turn on to manipulate others. It is an honest reflection of your self-respect. And if that self-respect is lacking, then faking body language will only take you so far. You must build your internal world at the same time. You need to believe that what you have to say matters. You need to know that your voice has value. You need to accept that you are allowed to take up space in the world, that you don't need to earn the right to be heard, that your worth is not conditional. From that place, body language becomes natural. From that place, confidence flows outward, not because you forced it, but because you stopped hiding. It's also important to practice body language in real-world settings. Confidence is a muscle. It must be trained. Go to a social setting, anywhere from a cafe to a gathering to a workplace meeting, and practice your posture. Pay attention to how you carry yourself. Stand or sit with intention. Breathe steadily. Hold eye contact longer than usual. Smile, not to please others, but to show you are at ease. You will feel resistance. Your body will try to return to its old habits. That's normal. But mastery requires repetition. And discipline means choosing what strengthens you, not what feels easy in the moment. Over time, you will notice something powerful happening. People begin to respond to you differently. They respect your presence more. They listen more closely. They mirror your energy, and you start to feel less like you are performing and more like you are showing up as your real self. Confidence doesn't mean being loud or extroverted. It means being aligned with yourself. It means your inner world and outer expression match. No confusion, no pretending, just clarity. And this clarity gives you influence, because people trust those who appear sure of themselves. They follow people who are calm under pressure. They admire those who lead with both humility and strength. Body language, when aligned with truth, is one of your greatest tools for connection and leadership. There will be moments when your confidence is tested, when your heart races, when you want to shrink. In those moments, return to your body, breathe, stand tall, plant your feet, find stillness, speak slowly. Let your presence speak before your words do. The more you return to this practice, the more resilient you become. Do not wait for the perfect situation to use confident body language. There is no perfect moment. There is only now. Use every conversation, every encounter, every room as practice. Over time, it becomes who you are. Not because you forced it, but because you decided to grow into it. This is the beginning, not the end. Confident body language is the first door into powerful communication. Once you master your presence, your words carry more weight. Your tone gains more influence. Your message is clearer, and your relationships deepen. Discipline yourself to practice these skills every day, not because someone is watching, but because you respect yourself too much to show up small. Speak smart, not just with your words but with your posture, your movement, your presence. Let your body be a reflection of the strength you are building inside. Real confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you build, step by step, habit by habit, day by day. And that building starts now, with how you sit, how you walk, how you breathe, and how you show up to your life. You owe it to yourself to be seen. Not as someone pretending to be strong, but as someone becoming stronger through intention and practice. Every time you stand tall, every time you move with purpose, every time you hold space with calm energy, you are becoming that person. You are the message before you even open your mouth. Speak smart by showing up as someone who respects themselves enough to lead with presence. This is not about perfection. This is about becoming better every single day. Start with your body. The rest will follow. Chapter 2. Build strong eye contact that commands real respect. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools you have in communication. It's not a trick. It's not a tactic. It's a signal. One that tells people who you are, how you feel about yourself, and how much attention you are giving to the moment. When you look someone directly in the eyes, you are saying, "I see you, and I am here." That simple act, done with the right intention and energy, can instantly build trust, respect, and connection. Most people underestimate eye contact. They think it's just about looking at someone's face. It's not. It's about presence. It's about showing that you are confident enough to be seen and still enough to see others fully. You are not hiding. You are not distracted. You are here. That presence is rare, and people recognize it immediately when they feel it. The first step to building strong eye contact is learning to hold it without fear. For many people, the eyes are uncomfortable. They carry too much intensity. Looking directly into someone's eyes can feel exposing or awkward, especially if you're not used to it. But that discomfort is only temporary. It's not a reason to avoid. It's a reason to lean in. Growth begins where discomfort lives. Start by practicing with yourself. Stand in front of a mirror and meet your own eyes. Don't judge. Don't look away. Just stay with yourself. Breathe slowly. Hold your gaze for 30 seconds, then a minute, then longer. Notice what comes up. Maybe it's restlessness. Maybe it's self-criticism. Maybe it's nothing at all. Just stay there. The goal isn't to feel something, it's to become familiar with being seen, even if it's just by yourself. Once you are more comfortable with your own eyes, bring that same practice into your daily interactions. When you speak to someone, look directly into their eyes, not to intimidate, but to connect. Hold their gaze for a few seconds at a time. Don't stare without blinking. Don't scan their face. Don't glance away out of habit. Just stay steady, stay calm, and stay present. In the beginning, it might feel unnatural. That's normal. You're building a new habit. You're training your mind to stop avoiding and start connecting. Every time you choose to hold eye contact instead of breaking it, you are telling yourself that you are safe being seen. You are rewiring your nervous system to support confidence instead of fear. You don't need to lock eyes with someone every second of the conversation. Natural eye contact flows in and out. When you're listening, hold their gaze longer. When you're speaking, let your eyes occasionally move as you think, then return. It's not a rigid rule. It's a rhythm. You're not trying to stare them down. You're trying to be there with them. Eye contact is about more than control. It's about connection. When someone knows you're really looking at them, they feel heard. They feel respected. They feel important. And that opens the door to deeper communication. If your eyes are darting around the room, checking your phone, watching the clock, they feel it. You don't have to say a word. Your lack of presence is already loud. But when your gaze is steady, calm, and focused, people feel like they matter. They lean in. They listen more. They open up. Your ability to hold eye contact can become one of the most trustworthy parts of your presence. It shows that you care enough to pay full attention and that you are not afraid to be real in the moment. Strong eye contact also affects the way you speak. When you maintain eye contact, your words slow down. You become more intentional. You think more clearly. Your voice steadies. Your mind sharpens. You are less likely to ramble or shrink your message. You speak as someone who stands behind their words. And it's not just about being dominant or assertive. Strong eye contact doesn't mean aggressive energy. It means aligned energy. There's no need to prove anything. There's no need to impress. You're simply there, fully, and that fullness brings gravity to everything you say. People with powerful communication skills are not always the loudest, but they are the most grounded. And one of the first ways you recognize that grounding is through their eyes. They don't flinch. They don't hide. They look straight at you, not to challenge you, but to welcome you. If you want to develop this skill, make it a daily discipline. Start with small conversations. The person at the grocery store, the barista, a coworker. Hold eye contact for just a few seconds longer than you normally would. Not forcefully, just enough to show presence. Then increase it over time. Make eye contact a habit, not a performance. Also, learn to read the other person. Not everyone is comfortable with intense eye contact, especially in some cultures. This isn't about overpowering people. It's about being fully present while also being respectful. If someone seems uncomfortable, soften your gaze. Bring warmth into your eyes. Smile slightly. Connection is not just visual, it's emotional. When you enter a room, use eye contact to establish presence before speaking. Look at people when you walk in. Make brief eye contact. Acknowledge them. It creates a ripple effect. People take you more seriously. They notice you. They listen before you speak. You don't need to shout. You just need to show up with your eyes first. In one-on-one conversations, use eye contact to hold space. When someone is speaking, don't interrupt with words. Just listen with your eyes. Nod occasionally. Let them know you are fully there. You don't have to agree, just be present. That kind of listening is rare, and it earns trust faster than any clever words. And when you are speaking, let your eyes anchor your message. Look the person in the eyes as you say what matters most. When you speak from that place of eye-to-eye connection, your words carry more weight. You are not performing, you are sharing, and people can feel the difference. The truth is, most people want to be seen. They want to be noticed, heard, valued. And most people walk through the world feeling invisible. You can change that, not just for yourself, but for others too. Eye contact isn't just about gaining respect, it's about giving it. When you respect someone enough to meet their gaze, you elevate the conversation, you create space for honesty. You show that there's nothing to hide and nothing to fear. And in doing so, you earn the kind of respect that doesn't need to be demanded. It is given freely because it's felt deeply. This is what it means to build strong eye contact. Not for control, not for ego, but for clarity, for truth, for connection. Every day you have the chance to practice this, not by being perfect, but by being present. Each conversation, each moment is a choice. Will you look away, or will you choose to be here? Eye contact is not a skill reserved for the few. It is a discipline that anyone can build. And when you do, everything about your communication changes. You are no longer speaking to people, you are speaking with them. You are no longer trying to impress, you are trying to connect. That shift changes everything. And the respect that grows from that kind of presence is real. It lasts. Because it's not based on volume or charisma. It's based on truth, on attention, on stillness. And those things are more powerful than any speech you could prepare. Build strong eye contact by being present with people, one moment at a time. It doesn't need to be dramatic, just honest, just grounded, just real. From that place, people will not only hear you, they will remember you. Chapter 3. Speak with purpose that moves people into action. Eye contact is one of the most powerful tools you have in communication. It's not a trick, it's not a tactic, it's a signal, one that tells people who you are, how you feel about yourself, and how much attention you are giving to the moment. When you look someone directly in the eyes, you are saying, "I see you, and I am here." That simple act, done with the right intention and energy, can instantly build trust, respect, and connection. Most people underestimate eye contact. They think it's just about looking at someone's face. It's not. It's about presence. It's about showing that you are confident enough to be seen and still enough to see others fully. You are not hiding. You are not distracted. You are here. That presence is rare, and people recognize it immediately when they feel it. The first step to building strong eye contact is learning to hold it without fear. For many people, the eyes are uncomfortable. They carry too much intensity. Looking directly into someone's eyes can feel exposing or awkward, especially if you're not used to it. But that discomfort is only temporary. It's not a reason to avoid. It's a reason to lean in. Growth begins where discomfort lives. Start by practicing with yourself. Stand in front of a mirror and meet your own eyes. Don't judge. Don't look away. Just stay with yourself. Breathe slowly. Hold your gaze for 30 seconds, then a minute, then longer. Notice what comes up. Maybe it's restlessness, maybe it's self-criticism, maybe it's nothing at all. Just stay there. The goal isn't to feel something, it's to become familiar with being seen, even if it's just by yourself. Once you are more comfortable with your own eyes, bring that same practice into your daily interactions. When you speak to someone, look directly into their eyes, not to intimidate, but to connect. Hold their gaze for a few seconds at a time. Don't stare without blinking. Don't scan their face. Don't glance away out of habit. Just stay steady, stay calm, and stay present. In the beginning, it might feel unnatural. That's normal. You're building a new habit. You're training your mind to stop avoiding and start connecting. Every time you choose to hold eye contact instead of breaking it, you are telling yourself that you are safe being seen. You are rewiring your nervous system to support confidence instead of fear. You don't need to lock eyes with someone every second of the conversation. Natural eye contact flows in and out. When you're listening, hold their gaze longer. When you're speaking, let your eyes occasionally move as you think, then return. It's not a rigid rule, it's a rhythm. You're not trying to stare them down. You're trying to be there with them. Eye contact is about more than control. It's about connection. When someone knows you're really looking at them, they feel heard, they feel respected, they feel important, and that opens the door to deeper communication. If your eyes are darting around the room, checking your phone, watching the clock, they feel it. You don't have to say a word. Your lack of presence is already loud. But when your gaze is steady, calm, and focused, people feel like they matter. They lean in. They listen more. They open up. Your ability to hold eye contact can become one of the most trustworthy parts of your presence. It shows that you care enough to pay full attention and that you are not afraid to be real in the moment. Strong eye contact also affects the way you speak. When you maintain eye contact, your words slow down. You become more intentional. You think more clearly. Your voice steadies. Your mind sharpens. You are less likely to ramble or shrink your message. You speak as someone who stands behind their words. And it's not just about being dominant or assertive. Strong eye contact doesn't mean aggressive energy. It means aligned energy. There's no need to prove anything. There's no need to impress. You're simply there, fully. And that fullness brings gravity to everything you say. People with powerful communication skills are not always the loudest, but they are the most grounded. And one of the first ways you recognize that grounding is through their eyes. They don't flinch. They don't hide. They look straight at you, not to challenge you, but to welcome you. If you want to develop this skill, make it a daily discipline. Start with small conversations. The person at the grocery store, the barista, a co-worker. Hold eye contact for just a few seconds longer than you normally would. Not forcefully, just enough to show presence. Then increase it over time. Make eye contact a habit, not a performance. Also, learn to read the other person. Not everyone is comfortable with intense eye contact, especially in some cultures. This isn't about overpowering people. It's about being fully present while also being respectful. If someone seems uncomfortable, soften your gaze. Bring warmth into your eyes. Smile slightly. Connection is not just visual, it's emotional. When you enter a room, use eye contact to establish presence before speaking. Look at people when you walk in. Make brief eye contact. Acknowledge them. It creates a ripple effect. People take you more seriously. They notice you. They listen before you speak. You don't need to shout. You just need to show up with your eyes first. In one-on-one conversations, use eye contact to hold space. When someone is speaking, don't interrupt with words. Just listen with your eyes. Nod occasionally. Let them know you are fully there. You don't have to agree, just be present. That kind of listening is rare, and it earns trust faster than any clever words. And when you are speaking, let your eyes anchor your message. Look the person in the eyes as you say what matters most. When you speak from that place of eye-to-eye connection, your words carry more weight. You are not performing. You are sharing, and people can feel the difference. The truth is, most people want to be seen. They want to be noticed, heard, valued, and most people walk through the world feeling invisible. You can change that, not just for yourself, but for others too. Eye contact isn't just about gaining respect, it's about giving it. When you respect someone enough to meet their gaze, you elevate the conversation. You create space for honesty. You show that there's nothing to hide and nothing to fear. And in doing so, you earn the kind of respect that doesn't need to be demanded. It is given freely because it's felt deeply. This is what it means to build strong eye contact, not for control, not for ego, but for clarity, for truth, for connection. Every day you have the chance to practice this, not by being perfect, but by being present. Each conversation, each moment, is a choice. Will you look away, or will you choose to be here? Eye contact is not a skill reserved for the few. It is a discipline that anyone can build. And when you do, everything about your communication changes. You are no longer speaking to people. You are speaking with them. You are no longer trying to impress. You are trying to connect. That shift changes everything. And the respect that grows from that kind of presence is real. It lasts. Because it's not based on volume or charisma. It's based on truth, on attention, on stillness. And those things are more powerful than any speech you could prepare. Build strong eye contact by being present with people, one moment at a time. It doesn't need to be dramatic, just honest, just grounded, just real. From that place, people will not only hear you, they will remember you. Chapter 4. Listen deeply to understand, not just to reply. Speaking with purpose is not about using bigger words or speaking louder than others. It's about being intentional. Every word you say carries energy, and when your words come from a place of clarity and direction, they create impact. People don't follow empty talk. They respond to conviction. They move when they feel the weight of what you're saying, not just the sound. Speaking with purpose means your message is shaped by meaning, not ego. It's about clarity, not cleverness. The most powerful communicators don't speak to fill silence. They speak to create movement. Before you speak, you need to understand why you are speaking. Ask yourself what you want your words to do. Are you trying to inspire, inform, lead, support, challenge, or clarify? If you don't know your purpose, your words will wander, and when your words wander, so do people's attention and respect. Purpose gives direction to your message. It creates a focus that people can feel. It allows your speech to become more than just sound. It becomes a force. A message with purpose has structure. It doesn't ramble. It begins with an idea worth sharing and ends with a reason to act. Purpose is not just what you say, it's how you say it. It's the energy behind the words. It's the steady pace in your voice. It's the calm control of your delivery. It's the strength that comes from being rooted in your intention. You don't need to shout to be heard. You just need to speak from a place of real understanding about what matters. To speak with purpose, you must care about what you are saying. If your words don't matter to you, they won't matter to anyone else. People feel your detachment. They sense when you are speaking just to impress or just to fill space. But they also sense when you speak from a place of commitment. When your words come from a belief, a principle, a deep value, your message lands harder. It reaches people not just in their ears, but in their decisions. Speaking with purpose means you understand the effect you want to create. You're not hoping to sound smart. You're not trying to dominate. You are clear on your goal, and that clarity creates momentum. Every sentence becomes a step toward a specific outcome. That outcome might be to inspire someone to take responsibility, to help someone see a new perspective, to guide a team through a challenge, or to support a friend in crisis. Whatever it is, your speech becomes action-oriented, not just attention-seeking. This level of speaking demands honesty. You cannot speak with purpose if your words are disconnected from your truth. Purposeful communication starts with integrity. You say what you mean. You avoid exaggeration. You stay on message. You resist the urge to impress. When you speak only what you believe, people start to believe in you. That trust is earned through consistency. Purpose builds trust, and trust leads to action. You must also learn to speak simply. Speaking with purpose is not about sounding complex. It's about clarity. The fewer words you use to say something powerful, the more people remember it. Clear speech cuts through noise. It brings focus. When you overcomplicate your message, you lose your listener. But when you simplify without watering down, you give your words strength. Emotion plays a role too. Speaking with purpose requires feeling, not emotional outbursts, but emotional connection. Your words must carry real human value. Speak to the parts of people that want to grow, change, and move forward. Speak to their courage. Speak to their values. Speak to their future. When people feel emotionally connected to what you're saying, they're more likely to respond. That doesn't mean manipulating emotions. It means being emotionally present in your message. Preparation matters. Don't just speak because it's your turn. Speak because you have something to give. Take the time to prepare what matters. Organize your thoughts. Trim the excess. Focus your energy on delivering the essential message in a way that people can understand quickly and remember easily. That preparation shows respect for your audience and for your message. And respect always strengthens influence. Your tone, your pacing, your presence, all of it matters. Speak with a pace that invites listening. Don't rush through your points. Allow space for your words to land. Give your listener time to absorb. If you rush, you sound unsure. If you drag, you lose energy. Find the balance. Speak at a pace that reflects confidence and intention. Body language matters too. Even without words, your body should reflect your message. When you speak with purpose, your posture aligns with your message. You stand with steadiness. You gesture with precision. You look people in the eye, not to intimidate, but to connect. You show up with full attention, not split focus. Your presence says, I believe in what I'm saying, and I am here to deliver it fully. Don't waste words. Don't speak for applause. Speak to create value. Every sentence should move the message forward. Speak with discipline. Cut distractions. Eliminate filler words. Pause when needed. Silence can be more powerful than noise when used intentionally. It gives your message space to breathe. One of the most powerful aspects of purposeful speaking is your ability to call others to action. A purposeful message moves people, not just emotionally, but behaviorally. It doesn't stop at feeling. It pushes them toward doing. If your words can help someone take a hard step, make a decision, shift a mindset, or begin a change, then you are not just communicating, you are leading. Leadership begins in your speech. Not just what you say to others, but what you say to yourself. When your internal dialogue is clear, committed, and purposeful, your external speech begins to match it. If your self-talk is full of doubt, confusion, and insecurity, that energy will show up in your message. You must discipline your mind before you can guide others. You must speak with purpose inside before you expect to speak with power outside. Purposeful speaking is built through daily decisions. Practice in every conversation. Ask yourself before you speak, what is the point of what I'm about to say? Does it help? Does it build? Does it lead? Does it bring clarity or waste time? You become purposeful by making that choice every day until it becomes second nature. This kind of communication earns you respect, not because you demand it, but because people feel your intention. They trust your words because your words are built on truth and focus. You become someone they look to for direction, not because you talk the most, but because when you speak, it means something. You don't have to be a public speaker to speak with purpose. Every conversation is an opportunity. Every meeting, every interaction, every moment of challenge or doubt is a space where you can use your words to build something stronger. Speak to lift others, speak to move forward, speak to add value. Speak with a sense of urgency that matters, not rushed but meaningful. You already have a voice. You just need to aim it, with discipline, with clarity, with respect. Your voice has the power to start something real, but only when it is aligned with a purpose worth standing for. People remember those who help them grow. People respect those who speak with integrity. People move when they believe the speaker is anchored in truth. That's what it means to speak with purpose that moves people into action. It's not performance. It's not personality. It's alignment. It's leadership. It's discipline. And it starts the moment you choose to speak with full awareness of the impact you're here to make. Chapter 5. Choose your words carefully to build real trust. Words are not just tools to express yourself. They are building blocks of relationships, foundations of connection, and often the difference between trust and doubt. When you speak, people are not just hearing your words. They are measuring your intentions, evaluating your values, and deciding whether or not you are worth listening to again. Every sentence carries weight, and if you want to build real trust, you must learn to choose your words with intention, precision, and honesty. Speaking without care might feel natural, but it rarely leads to meaningful connection. Careless words often leave a lasting impact that thoughtful words could have prevented. Trust begins with truth, but truth is not always what you say, it's how you say it. You can speak facts and still lose trust if your words feel sharp, dismissive, or manipulative. The way you communicate your message matters as much as the message itself. People respond not only to content, but to tone, timing, and delivery. Trust is built when your words match your character, when they reflect your values, and when they are consistently used to support rather than to control. Speaking with care doesn't mean speaking less. It means speaking with awareness. You need to be aware of your impact, aware of your intention, and aware of your audience. Think before you speak, not because you fear being wrong, but because you respect the effect your words can have. Every conversation carries the possibility to either strengthen or weaken trust. When your words are thoughtful, you show that you value the person in front of you. You show that you are not just trying to win the moment, but that you are here to build something that lasts. To choose your words carefully, you need clarity inside yourself. If you are speaking from confusion or insecurity, your message will be messy. But when your thoughts are clear, your words become clean. Take the time to know what you want to say. Strip away the unnecessary. Focus on what matters. Speak with purpose, not pressure. When you speak from a calm and centered place, you naturally begin to use words that create trust instead of tension. Avoid exaggeration. Avoid false promises. Avoid statements you can't back up. These habits might offer short-term relief or approval, but they damage long-term credibility. When you say something, stand by it. When you commit, follow through. Your consistency is part of your communication. If your words and actions don't align, people stop believing you. That loss of belief is not recovered easily. Another essential part of choosing your words carefully is listening before you speak. When you listen fully, you gain context. You understand what the other person actually needs. You avoid assumptions, you reduce miscommunication, and you respond in a way that is relevant, not reactive. People trust those who make them feel heard. When your words reflect that you are listening, not just waiting to reply, you build trust without needing to convince. Speak with kindness without losing strength. You do not have to soften the truth, but you do have to deliver it with care. Honesty that ignores the other person's dignity is not wisdom, it's ego. Real strength is speaking the truth while still honoring the relationship. It means being direct without being cold. It means being clear without being careless. It means understanding that trust is not just built on what is said, but on how it feels to be spoken to. Avoid using words to gain power over others. Don't speak to manipulate emotions. Don't say things to get people to react. Speak to create understanding, not to stir drama. When people feel used by your words, they pull away. But when they feel respected, they lean in. Every word is either a bridge or a barrier. Choose which one you want to build. Trust also comes from humility. When you make a mistake in speech, when you say something that hurts, offends, or confuses, own it quickly. Apologize clearly. Clarify your message. Show that you care more about the relationship than your image. People don't expect perfection, but they do expect accountability. A well-timed and honest correction builds more trust than a flawless presentation. When you speak about others, be mindful. If you speak negatively about someone behind their back, you lose trust from the people who hear you. Even if they nod along, they wonder what you say when they're not in the room. Protecting others in their absence builds trust in your presence. Speak with integrity, especially when it's inconvenient. The words you use about yourself also matter. If you constantly downplay your worth, apologize for existing, or criticize yourself in front of others, it creates uncertainty. People don't trust those who don't trust themselves. Speak about yourself with honesty, but also with respect. Don't pretend to be perfect, but don't pretend to be powerless either. Your words shape your image, both to yourself and to others. Be specific. Vague speech weakens trust. If you mean something, say it clearly. If you don't know, say that too. People trust directness. They trust when you are clear about your needs, your boundaries, your beliefs. Uncertainty in speech makes people uncomfortable because it forces them to guess, and guessing leads to doubt. When you say what you mean and mean what you say, trust builds naturally. Timing matters. Sometimes the right words at the wrong time do damage. Pay attention to the moment. Some conversations need to wait. Some truths need preparation. Some messages need silence first. Don't rush to speak just because there's space. Wisdom includes knowing when to hold your words until they can land well. Your vocabulary doesn't need to be complex. Simple, sincere language is often the most powerful. Speak to be understood, not to sound impressive. Use words that feel real. Words that people can connect to. Words that reflect who you are and what you believe. When your words feel real, they are received with trust. Your communication must be rooted in consistency. Trust is not built by one good conversation. It's built through patterns. People listen with their memory. They remember how you've spoken in the past. They remember if your words lifted them or left them confused. They remember if you spoke with care or with force. Every interaction adds to the story they believe about you. Use affirming language. Celebrate others when it's deserved. Give credit, show appreciation. Recognize effort. These words are powerful not because they are grand, but because they are rare. People don't forget how they felt around you, and when your words are consistently encouraging and grounded in truth, people begin to trust your presence as much as your message. Choosing your words carefully is not about hesitation, it's about maturity. It's about recognizing that your voice is powerful and choosing to use it wisely. It's about slowing down just enough to speak with purpose, with clarity, and with empathy. It's about valuing others enough to shape your message in a way they can receive. This kind of speech is not always easy. It takes discipline. It requires self-awareness. It demands emotional control. But over time, it becomes part of who you are. You stop needing to think so hard before speaking, because speaking with care becomes your default. In a world filled with noise, careless talk, and rushed opinions, careful words stand out. They create space for real connection. They lay the foundation for strong relationships. They invite trust, not just once, but again and again. Build that trust by treating your words like they matter, because they do. Every time you speak with care, you create a moment of clarity in someone's life. You become a voice they can count on. You become someone whose words don't just fill time, they build something real. Chapter 6. Control your tone to match your true intent. The tone of your voice can shape how your message is heard, felt, and remembered. It's not just what you say that matters, but how you say it. Your tone carries emotion, energy, and intent. It influences how people interpret your words. You might speak with good intentions, but if your tone sounds sharp, flat, dismissive, or impatient, your message will be misunderstood. Controlling your tone is not about sounding perfect. It's about making sure your delivery reflects your purpose. When your tone and intent align, people feel safe, respected, and understood. When they don't, even helpful words can come across as hurtful or insincere. Your tone is shaped by your internal state. If you're frustrated, your voice will carry it. If you're distracted, your voice will reflect it. If you're calm, it will show. You can't hide what you're feeling with just words. People hear more than you think. They hear tension in your breath, impatience in your rhythm, and judgment in your volume. That's why tone control starts with emotional awareness. You must first recognize how you feel before you open your mouth. If you speak without checking your emotional temperature, your own will reveal things you didn't intend to share. Self-control is the first step to tone control. When you feel triggered, agitated, or upset, pause. Don't respond out of impulse. Don't let emotions speak before wisdom does. Breathe. Give yourself space. Choose to speak from clarity, not reaction. This choice builds trust and respect. It shows that you value communication enough to protect it from emotional overflow. Your ability to remain steady in tone, even when tested, is a reflection of your discipline. It's not weakness to lower your tone, it's strength. It means you're in control of yourself and not handing your power over to frustration or ego. Tone control also includes volume. Speaking louder does not make your message stronger. Often, it makes people defensive. It pushes them away. It makes it harder for them to hear you because they are focused on the emotional weight of your delivery rather than the meaning of your words. Lowering your volume can often increase your power. It invites people to lean in. It shifts the dynamic from force to focus. You don't need to raise your voice to be taken seriously. You just need to speak with presence and precision. Pacing is another part of your tone. When you speak too quickly, you sound anxious or uncertain. When you slow down just enough, your words carry more meaning. They have room to land. People feel that you are grounded, deliberate, and in control. That pace creates calm. It creates clarity, and it shows that you're not rushing to escape the moment, but that you're here to communicate something that matters. Even your pauses affect your tone. Silence, used wisely, adds weight to your message. A well-placed pause gives your listener time to absorb what you've said. It also signals that you are intentional, not impulsive. You're not speaking just to fill space. You're speaking to connect. That shift changes how people listen. It invites them into the message. It shows them that you respect their time and attention. Your tone must match your message. If you're trying to express care, don't use a flat or robotic tone. If you're offering guidance, avoid sounding condescending. If you're sharing excitement, let your voice reflect enthusiasm. People sense when your words and tone don't match. It creates confusion. It raises doubts about your sincerity. Consistency between what you say and how you say it is what gives your words credibility. Think of someone you trust deeply. Chances are their tone is steady, kind, and clear. They don't speak carelessly. They don't let emotion distort their message. They speak with control, and that control makes you feel safe with them. That's what tone mastery creates. Safety. And from that place, communication flows more freely. To improve your tone, you must also listen to yourself. Record your voice during a conversation or presentation. Play it back. Observe how you sound. Do you sound the way you want to? Do you hear alignment between your words and your delivery? This exercise will teach you what your tone communicates beyond your intention. It's not always comfortable, but it's one of the fastest ways to grow. Awareness is the beginning of change. In everyday conversations, especially with people close to you, tone is often the cause of unnecessary conflict. You may be trying to help, but your tone sounds critical. You may be explaining something, but your tone sounds impatient. You may be asking a question, but your tone sounds accusatory. The content might be fine, but the delivery creates tension. That's why tone must be constantly refined, especially with those who matter most. When people trust your tone, they stop doubting your intentions. Being emotionally clear before you speak is key to getting your tone right. Ask yourself what result you want from the conversation. Do you want to encourage, teach, support, correct, or understand? Then ask what tone supports that outcome. If your goal is connection, your tone must be open. If your goal is to solve a problem, your tone must be focused. If your goal is to lead, your tone must be calm and steady. Let the desired result guide your energy. Don't rely on emotion alone to drive your tone. Emotion is temporary, purpose is steady. Let purpose be the anchor. Before you speak, breathe. Reset. Align. Then communicate. This practice might seem small, but it changes everything. It brings discipline into your speech. It protects your message from being hijacked by emotion. It allows you to speak clearly, consistently, and respectively in any situation. Your tone is also part of your personal presence. People will associate your voice with how you made them feel. If you consistently speak with calm, strength, and warmth, your voice becomes a source of stability. If you often sound tense, distant, or harsh, people will instinctively pull back. They might not even know why. They just won't feel safe opening up. And when people don't feel safe, communication breaks down. The way you speak becomes part of your identity. Your tone shapes your reputation. In workplaces, in families, in friendships, people remember how you spoke to them. They remember if your tone lifted them or pushed them down. And over time, your tone becomes your legacy in relationships. That's why tone control is not just a skill. It's a form of respect. It's a way of showing that you take responsibility for how your words land. You can practice tone control in every conversation. Start small. Become aware of when your voice rises unnecessarily. Notice when your speech speeds up under pressure. Pay attention to the moments when your tone slips away from your values. Then correct yourself, not with guilt, but with commitment. Decide to keep practicing, not to be perfect, but to be better. You won't always get it right, and that's okay. Growth is not about flawless performance. It's about steady improvement. What matters is that you care enough to try, that you value your words enough to protect their impact, that you value others enough to communicate in a way that honors them. Speak with tone that reflects who you really are, not just what you temporarily feel. Let your tone express discipline, not distraction. Let it carry clarity, not chaos. Let it build trust, not confusion. And above all, let it show that your communication is grounded in something stronger than emotion, your values. When your tone consistently matches your intention, people begin to trust your words more. They listen more closely, they respond more openly, and they remember what you said because it felt real. That's what tone mastery gives you, not just more influence, but more alignment between who you are and how you speak. And that kind of alignment leaves no room for doubt. Chapter 7. Slow down your speech to increase your impact. Speaking is not a race to the finish line. It's a tool for connection, understanding, and influence. In today's fast-paced world, many people speak quickly without realizing how much meaning is lost in the rush. When your words come out too fast, they often come out without precision or power. They may sound nervous, anxious, or unfocused. People struggle to follow you, and the message loses strength. Slowing down your speech allows your words to land. It creates space for clarity, confidence, and depth. It gives your message weight. It shows that you are in control, present, and intentional. When you speak slower, you are not just giving people time to understand you. You are also giving yourself time to think. Thoughtful communication requires space. When you rush, you rely on habit and emotion. When you slow down, you invite clarity and purpose into your delivery. You begin to speak from intention instead of instinct. That shift makes your words more powerful because they come from a place of awareness, not reaction. Fast speech often sends the wrong signals. It can suggest that you're nervous or trying too hard. It can make you seem uncertain, even if you know what you're talking about. People may feel overwhelmed or confused by the speed, especially if the topic is complex or emotional. Slowing down shows that you are confident enough to let your words breathe. It tells others that your message matters. It creates trust. It allows your energy to settle and invites the listener to meet you in a calm and thoughtful space. Slowing your speech is not about dragging it out. It's about creating rhythm and balance. A steady pace communicates that you are in control of your voice and your message. It helps people engage with what you're saying because it mirrors the way the mind processes language. Fast speech creates tension. Slow and steady speech creates calm. And when people are calm, they can hear, absorb, and respond with clarity. Your pace is part of your personal presence. People often judge your confidence not by what you say, but by how you say it. A calm, deliberate voice signals inner control. It shows that you're not just reacting, you're leading the moment. You're shaping the space with your words, and that influence begins the moment you choose to slow down. Pausing is an essential tool in slowing down. A well-placed pause after a key point can emphasize its importance. It can give your listener a chance to reflect or absorb what was just said. Pauses are not empty. They are full of power. They allow your words to echo. They give room for the emotional weight of your message to be felt. People often fear silence in speech, but silence used intentionally can be more persuasive than any word. Many speakers feel pressure to fill every second. They think silence is awkward or weak. But true communication is not about non-stop talking. It's about connection. And connection requires space. When you slow down and allow for moments of stillness, you create more opportunities for that connection to grow. You show that you are not rushing through the conversation. You are valuing it. Slowing down also helps you avoid verbal clutter. Filler words like, you know, or actually tend to appear more often when you speak too fast. You reach for them when your mind is racing ahead of your mouth. But when you slow down, your speech becomes cleaner, your sentences become more complete, your delivery becomes smoother. You reduce the noise and increase the strength of your message. You don't need to speak slowly all the time. The key is flexibility. Learn to control your pace depending on the situation. If you are delivering important information, explaining something new, or speaking in an emotionally charged moment, slow your pace. It will give your words gravity. In moments of energy or passion, you can increase your pace briefly to show enthusiasm, but always return to control. Speaking with a consistent and intentional rhythm shows maturity and presence. Another benefit of slowing down is emotional regulation. When your pace is calm, it becomes harder for emotions to hijack your delivery. Anger, anxiety, and frustration feed on speed. They push you to speak before thinking. But when you slow your speech, you also slow your internal pace. You reduce reactivity. You increase awareness. You create a buffer between stimulus and response. That space is where wisdom lives. That space is where strong communication is born. In relationships, fast or careless speech often leads to misunderstanding. You may say things you don't mean or express them in a way that confuses or hurts others. Slowing down gives you time to choose your words with care. It helps you respect the emotional tone of the moment. It allows you to listen more fully before speaking. And when you respond, your words come from clarity, not assumption. Even in professional settings, your pace can make or break how people perceive you. A clear, measured pace earns credibility. It shows that you're thoughtful and deliberate. Whether you're presenting an idea, leading a meeting, or resolving a conflict, your speech sets the tone for how others respond. If you speak too fast, you may lose authority. If you speak too slowly without energy, you may lose engagement. But if you speak with a steady and confident rhythm, you will keep attention and increase your influence. You can train yourself to slow down. Start by recording yourself speaking on a topic you know well. Listen back and notice your pace. Are you rushing? Are your sentences blending together? Are your words clear and deliberate? Practice slowing down, just enough so that each sentence has space. Each idea has room. Each message feels complete. Practice with intention, not perfection. Improvement will come with repetition and awareness. Mindfulness plays a big role in your speaking pace. When you're fully present, you don't feel the need to hurry. You're not trying to escape the moment or prove anything. You're focused on connection. That presence naturally slows your voice. It brings depth to your words. It aligns your speech with your values. And it reminds you that every word is a choice to lead, to uplift, to guide. Sometimes fast talking is a habit learned over years. It becomes unconscious. You may not even realize you're doing it until someone points it out or you hear yourself recorded. That's why building awareness is the first step to change. Pay attention to your breathing while speaking. Shallow breathing often leads to fast speech. Deep, controlled breathing grounds your voice and slows your rhythm. Breathe deeply before speaking. Let each breath reset your pace. Let it center your delivery. Slowing down your speech does not make you boring. It makes you believable. It makes you easy to follow. It shows respect for the listener, for the moment, and for your message. It gives your words time to land, and in that space, meaning grows. Great communicators understand this. They don't speak to impress. They speak to connect. And connection takes time. It takes care. It takes control. By slowing your speech, you communicate with intention. You show people that your words matter, that they are not thrown out carelessly, but shared with clarity and presence. Speak as though your words carry weight, because they do. Speak as though the person listening is worth your full attention, because they are. Speak in a way that reflects calm confidence, not rushed insecurity. Speak slowly enough for people to hear you, feel you, and remember you. Every conversation is a chance to shape your influence. Every sentence is a chance to show your presence. Slowing down allows you to take full responsibility for the impact of your voice. And from that responsibility comes power, not loud, aggressive power, but quiet, steady, lasting power. The kind that leaves people not just informed, but moved. The kind that makes communication a tool for trust and transformation. Chapter 8. Practice silence to speak with more influence. Silence is often misunderstood in communication. Many people believe that saying more proves confidence, intelligence, or authority, but true influence is not always measured by how much you say. It is measured by the strength behind what you say, and often that strength is born in silence. Silence is not weakness, it is presence. It is awareness. It is control. When you become comfortable with silence, you begin to speak from a place of clarity rather than urgency. You stop reacting and start choosing. You stop filling space and start honoring it. Most people rush to speak because they fear the discomfort of quiet. They assume that silence means they're unprepared, unworthy, or uninteresting. But silence used intentionally can be one of the most powerful tools in communication. It invites reflection, it commands attention, it creates contrast. When you speak after a pause, your words carry more weight. When you let silence sit after a powerful statement, your message lingers in the mind of the listener. Learning to be quiet when others expect you to speak is a sign of inner strength. You do not need to fill every gap. You do not need to win every second. You simply need to know that what you say will be said when it matters most. Silence is the pause between the notes that makes music meaningful. It is the breath between thoughts that brings understanding. It is not the absence of speech, but the presence of intention. In relationships, silence can build emotional space. It shows that you are listening. It shows that you are not rushing to control the conversation or dominate the other person's view. It allows others to express themselves fully without interruption. This form of silence communicates respect. It creates trust. It tells the other person that you value what they say enough to give it room. In leadership, silence helps you observe. Before giving your input, you listen. Before offering your judgment, you absorb. When you're not busy filling the air with your own thoughts, you begin to notice things. You hear tone. You sense tension. You read the emotional atmosphere. This awareness makes your communication more accurate, more empathetic, and more effective. It positions you as someone who speaks only when there's something worth saying. In difficult conversations, silence helps you stay grounded. When someone says something that triggers you, silence gives you space to pause before reacting. That pause is everything. In that pause, you choose how to respond. In that pause, you return to your values instead of your emotions. Without silence, you're a slave to the moment. With silence, you become its master. Silence also helps you listen better. Most people listen just enough to respond, not to understand. But deep listening requires stillness, not just in your voice, but in your mind. You quiet your own thoughts. You let go of the urge to jump in. You stop preparing your reply while the other person is still speaking. And in doing so, you hear more. You connect more. You create real understanding. One of the most powerful ways to use silence is during pauses between your own sentences. These intentional pauses give your words room to breathe. They let the listener process what you just said. They create rhythm and structure in your delivery. They draw attention to key messages. You become more persuasive not by speaking more, but by speaking with precision and pause. If you want to speak with more influence, start by speaking less. Say only what is necessary. Make each word count. People do not remember everything you say. They remember what moved them, what stood out, what felt true. And those moments are often surrounded by silence. In silence, your message has space to land. In silence, your presence becomes louder than your words. In social situations, silence can also show confidence. When you enter a room and remain calm and composed, without the need to force conversation, people notice. You don't chase attention, you attract it. Your presence speaks for you. When you speak with clarity, not with the pressure to prove anything. That kind of silence is not empty. It is full of calm power. Practicing silence is not about being mute. It's about choosing when to speak and when to hold space. It's about listening to the moment before reacting to it. It's about giving your words a stage, not a flood. The most impactful communicators understand the power of the pause. They use silence to control the pace, to guide the energy, to create emotion. To build this skill, start by observing your own patterns. Notice how often you speak to avoid awkwardness. Notice how quickly you jump in when there's a pause. Practice sitting in silence without rushing to fill it. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is your growth. Stay with it. Allow the silence to stretch. Let it teach you patience. Let it teach you restraint. Next time you're in a conversation, try waiting 2 seconds before responding. Let the silence do some of the work. Give the other person space to expand their thought. Let yourself breathe. Then speak with calm intention. You'll find that your words become more meaningful when they are not tangled in haste. In meetings or group discussions, silence can be a signal of strength. When you don't respond immediately, people sense that you are thoughtful, not reactive. Your opinion feels more valuable because it comes from consideration. When you do speak, it breaks the silence with authority, not noise. Even in personal relationships, silence is a tool for deeper connection. Sometimes, the most supportive thing you can do is to say nothing. Just sit with someone in their pain or confusion. Hold space for them. Your silence says, I am here. I don't need to fix you. I don't need to distract you. I respect your experience enough to be still with it. Influence does not always require speech. Sometimes it requires restraint. It requires presence. It requires the wisdom to know when your silence carries more impact than your opinion. People remember those who made them feel seen and heard, not those who overwhelmed them with words. If you want to develop true communication power, start valuing silence as much as speech. Let it shape your delivery. Let it deepen your message. Let it show others that your voice comes from stillness, not stress. That your words come from thought, not impulse. That your influence comes from calm, not volume. Every moment of silence you embrace is a moment of presence you offer. In a noisy world, presence is rare, and rare things are valuable. So be the one who speaks when it matters. Be the one who waits when it's wise. Be the one whose silence says more than empty words ever could. Because influence begins not in how loudly you speak, but in how deeply you listen and how wisely you choose to speak at all. Chapter 9. Ask powerful questions that open real connection. Questions are the most powerful tool in communication when used with care and clarity. They can break walls, build bridges, and guide people toward a deeper understanding of themselves and others. Asking powerful questions is not about being clever or strategic. It is about being genuinely curious. It is about choosing to explore rather than assume. It is about stepping into a conversation, not to control it, but to open it. In a world where so many speak to be heard, those who ask thoughtful questions stand out. They show depth. They show presence. They show that they are not just hearing, but truly listening. Real connection begins when people feel seen and understood, not judged or rushed. And the simplest way to offer that is through intentional inquiry. When you ask the right question, you invite someone to share more than just facts. You invite their story, their values, their emotions. A question well placed can reveal the heart of a person, and when someone feels safe enough to be real with you, a genuine connection begins to form. To ask powerful questions, you must first silence your need to be right or to lead the conversation. Let go of the urge to impress. Focus instead on being present. Ask because you want to learn, not because you want to prove a point. Ask because you care, not because you want control. This shift in intention changes everything. It moves the conversation from a transaction to a shared experience. The most powerful questions are often the simplest. They are open-ended. They do not corner someone into a yes or no. They allow freedom of thought. They leave space for honesty. Instead of asking, "Are you okay?" which can be answered with a polite yes. Ask what's been on your mind lately. Instead of asking, "Did that bother you?" ask, "How did that make you feel?" These are not complicated questions, but they go deeper. They ask for truth, not convenience. When you ask someone a question that requires reflection, you show that you believe they have insight worth exploring. You validate their inner world. You affirm their experience. People open up to those who create safety, and questions do that when asked with empathy. When someone senses that you are not looking for a quick answer but truly want to understand, they begin to trust you, and trust is the soil where connection grows. Asking powerful questions also sharpens your ability to lead. Whether you are guiding a team, mentoring someone, or navigating a difficult conversation, your questions reveal your level of awareness. Instead of giving answers right away, ask what they think. Ask what matters to them. Ask what they need. This shows respect. It shows humility. It shows that you value collaboration more than control, and that is what builds influence. Not telling people what to do, but helping them discover it themselves. In personal growth, the habit of questioning yourself is just as essential. Instead of reacting to challenges, ask what this moment is teaching you. Instead of dwelling on failure, ask what you can learn from it. Instead of blaming others, ask what you could have done differently. These are the questions that move you forward. They prevent you from getting stuck in your own perspective. They break you out of the automatic cycle of emotion and reaction, and they invite growth instead of defensiveness. To improve your ability to ask powerful questions, start by practicing stillness in conversation. Wait longer before you speak. Listen not just to the words, but to what's underneath them. Ask yourself what this person might need right now: a solution, support, or simply space to be heard. Then ask a question that gives them that space. Often, a single thoughtful question is more impactful than a long explanation or well-prepared response. Pay attention to the impact your questions have on others. Do they open people up or shut them down? Do they invite reflection or create pressure? Do they make others feel safe or defensive? Your awareness of this impact will guide you to adjust and refine how you engage. The goal is not just to get answers, but to create moments of connection, insight, and understanding. In conflict or disagreement, powerful questions can de-escalate tension. Instead of arguing your point, ask what the other person needs to feel understood. Ask what they are really trying to say beneath their frustration. Ask what you could do differently next time. These kinds of questions lower defenses. They invite cooperation. They show that you are not against them, but with them. And that shift can turn conflict into progress. In leadership settings, questions help clarify goals, strengthen alignment, and build team unity. Ask what success looks like to each person. Ask what obstacles they're facing. Ask how they feel about the direction you're heading. These questions reveal what's working and what's not. They uncover solutions. They empower people to take ownership. And when people feel heard, they are more likely to be committed. In everyday life, powerful questions can deepen even the most casual conversations. Instead of asking, "What do you do?" ask, "What do you enjoy most about what you do?" Instead of asking, "How was your weekend?" ask, "What's something that made you smile recently?" These subtle shifts invite richer dialogue. They show that you are not just being polite, you are being present. Asking powerful questions is not about technique. It's about intention. It's about being willing to go beneath the surface. It's about choosing curiosity over assumption. Connection is never forced. It is allowed, and questions open that door when they are asked with patience, kindness, and genuine interest. To make this a part of your life, begin each day with one deep question for yourself. Then, as you engage with others, carry that same intention into every conversation. You will start to notice people responding differently. They will lean in. They will open up. They will feel valued. And in that, your relationships will transform, not because you spoke more, but because you asked better. The power of a question is not just in the answer it brings, but in the attention it communicates. It says, "I care enough to know more." And in a world that often rushes past connection, that kind of attention is rare and unforgettable. Speak less to impress and ask more to connect. Make curiosity your habit. Make empathy your approach. Make your presence felt not through what you know, but through how deeply you're willing to understand. That is how powerful questions change conversations. That is how they build trust. That is how they open real and lasting connection. Chapter 10. Develop emotional control before speaking your truth. Emotional control is not about suppressing how you feel, but about understanding your emotions deeply and choosing how you respond to them. Before you speak your truth, you must first understand it. What you feel in the moment is not always the full picture. Emotions are powerful and often loud, but they are not permanent. They shift, and with time and reflection, what you think is your truth may evolve. This is why developing emotional control is essential if you want your words to be wise, purposeful, and meaningful. When your emotions are high, your clarity is low. You are more likely to react than to respond. You are more likely to defend than to understand. You are more likely to speak in ways that push people away rather than pull them closer. But when you create space between what you feel and what you say, you create the power to choose your words instead of being ruled by them. This is the difference between emotional impulsiveness and emotional maturity. To develop emotional control, you must first build awareness of your internal state. What are you feeling right now? What triggered that feeling? Where do you feel it in your body? Is your heart racing? Your chest tight? Your breathing shallow? These are signals. Your body is giving you information about your emotional state before your mind has even made sense of it. Tuning into these cues helps you pause before you speak, and that pause is everything. The pause is your moment of power. In that space, you can choose to breathe. You can choose to reflect. You can choose to wait before responding. You can ask yourself if the words you want to say will build or destroy, help or harm, heal or hurt. This simple act of waiting just a little longer can save relationships, build trust, and prevent regret. The more you practice it, the stronger your emotional control becomes. Emotional control does not mean being cold or distant. It means being wise enough to know when your emotions are guiding you toward truth and when they are clouding your judgment. There is a difference between speaking from a place of calm clarity and speaking from a storm of anger or frustration. One leads to connection. The other often leads to conflict. Your truth deserves to be spoken, but it also deserves to be delivered in a way that people can hear it, feel it, and respect it. When you are emotionally triggered, your brain shifts into survival mode. Logic shuts down. The ability to think clearly weakens. This is not a character flaw. It is biology, but it's also something you can train yourself to recognize and manage. When you feel triggered, your first responsibility is not to speak, but to center yourself. This could mean stepping away, breathing deeply, journaling, or talking to someone who can help you process. It is not weakness to pause, it is strength. It shows you care enough about the outcome to not let temporary emotion dictate permanent consequences. Once you've taken that pause and returned to a place of calm, your words will come from a deeper place. They will not just be emotionally charged statements. They will be thoughtful expressions of what truly matters to you. Speaking your truth with emotional control means you are more likely to be heard. People respond not only to what you say, but to how you make them feel. If you speak with respect and steadiness, even difficult truths can be received with grace. Emotional control also means knowing that not every thought needs to be shared. Just because you feel something doesn't mean it must be voiced. Silence can be a sign of strength, not avoidance. Sometimes what you feel intensely in the moment fades quickly with time. Learning to wait and process gives you the space to decide if what you wanted to say still matters later. This filters out words that would have been said in haste and protects your relationships from unnecessary damage. Practicing emotional control also builds your reputation. People begin to see you as grounded, reliable, and emotionally intelligent. They know they can trust you not to lash out. They know you won't crumble under pressure. They know that when you do speak, your words come from intention, not reactivity. This gives you presence. This builds quiet influence. It sets you apart in a world where so many people speak without thinking and regret without learning. When you do speak your truth, emotional control helps you do it with compassion. You don't need to be harsh to be honest. You don't need to attack to assert yourself. Truth can be delivered with gentleness and still be powerful. In fact, when spoken calmly, Truth is often even more impactful. It lands differently. It feels grounded. It is not about being right, but about being real in a way that invites understanding rather than resistance. To cultivate emotional control consistently, you need habits that support emotional resilience. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness are not just wellness buzzwords. They are essential tools for keeping your mind balanced. When you are physically depleted, your emotional strength weakens. When you are mentally scattered, you lose the ability to be present, and presence is the foundation of emotional control. You must take care of your system so you have the inner space to choose your responses wisely. Another powerful practice is self-inquiry. Ask yourself, what patterns do I fall into when I'm upset? Do I shut down? Do I lash out? Do I overtalk or withdraw? What do I regret after these moments? Reflecting on your past behavior with honesty, not shame, helps you grow. It gives you awareness of your triggers and helps you design better responses. Emotional control is not about perfection. It's about being slightly better today than you were yesterday and doing it consistently. You must also learn to detach from the need to win every conversation. Many people lose emotional control because they feel threatened when their view is challenged. But if your identity is built on understanding, not defensiveness, disagreement becomes easier to manage. You no longer need to overpower others with emotion. You listen, reflect, and respond with clarity. This doesn't mean you become passive. It means you become powerful in a different way, through poise, not pressure. When you speak your truth with emotional control, you speak for impact, not for attention. You speak to uplift, not to harm. You speak to clarify, not to confuse. And most importantly, you speak in a way that aligns with who you are, not who you temporarily become when emotions take over. This creates self-respect. It creates integrity. It allows you to walk away from conversations with peace, knowing you expressed yourself clearly and consciously. The more you live this way, the more peace you will feel inside. You won't be stuck in cycles of regret or constant apology. You won't feel drained by your own words. You will feel aligned. You will feel steady. And others will feel it too. This is what it means to speak your truth with strength. It is not about volume. It is about clarity. It is about love without fear and honesty without harm. Your emotions are not the enemy. They are messengers, but you decide what to do with the message. You decide whether to speak it with fire or with wisdom. You decide whether to let it pass or to act on it. That decision is what defines your character. And when your character leads your communication, your words will always carry the weight of truth and the power of trust. Chapter 11. Share personal stories that inspire and build trust. People remember stories more than they remember facts. Stories speak to the heart before they reach the mind. When someone tells you what happened to them, you listen differently. You stop evaluating. You start feeling. You see the person, not just the message. This is why sharing personal stories is one of the most powerful ways to build trust and connection in communication. It's not about being impressive. It's about being real. Trust isn't built through perfect words or polished language. It grows when someone opens up and lets others see who they really are. Personal stories allow that. They take down walls. They make space for others to feel seen and understood. When you tell a personal story with honesty and intention, you invite others to connect, not with your image, but with your truth. That is where real influence lives. If you want to inspire people, don't lecture them. Tell them what you've lived. Share what broke you and what rebuilt you. Talk about the moments you doubted yourself, the days you failed, the people who helped you, and the strength you had to find. These moments make you human. They don't make you weak. They make you relatable. And people trust those who feel real, not those who pretend to be perfect. The key is not just to share a story for the sake of storytelling. The story must have meaning. It must be chosen with intention. What lesson did you learn? What message do you want to leave behind? What part of your life will help someone else see their own life more clearly? Don't just share details, share transformation. That's what makes a story powerful. It takes the listener from where you were to where you are, and it shows them what's possible for them too. Vulnerability is often misunderstood. People think being vulnerable means being dramatic or emotional in public. But true vulnerability is controlled strength. It's choosing to share something meaningful when you don't have to. It's speaking about a part of your life that shaped you, even if it wasn't easy. When you're willing to be open about your struggles, your growth becomes believable. Your advice becomes grounded in truth, not theory. When telling a personal story, focus on the emotions, not just the events. People connect through feelings. Tell them how you felt. Were you scared, lost, ashamed, confused, excited? Let the emotions guide the story. Speak with honesty but without over-explaining. Paint the picture clearly enough for the listener to step into your experience without forcing them to feel anything. Good stories invite. They don't push. Keep your story clear. Know the point before you begin. What do you want someone to walk away with after hearing this? Avoid rambling or going off track. A powerful story has a beginning, a turning point, and a takeaway. You don't need every detail. You need the right details, the ones that make the story feel alive. The goal is not to impress, but to impact. The more specific you are, the more universal your story becomes. Don't generalize your feelings or experiences. Speak about a specific moment, a conversation, a decision, a failure, a realization. Describe it in simple, clear language. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you say? The more you ground your story in real moments, the more it will resonate with others. People don't need fancy words. They need words that feel true. Not every story needs to be dramatic to be meaningful. Everyday stories carry power too. A quiet moment with a parent, a hard decision at work, an apology you gave or received, all of these have weight when told with sincerity. Inspiration doesn't come from scale. It comes from depth. What matters is not how big the story is, but how deeply it reveals something real. Sharing stories also helps you understand yourself. The process of reflecting, choosing, and telling your story forces clarity. It helps you find meaning in your experiences. It helps you see how far you've come, and when others hear that story, they feel less alone in their own journey. They see a piece of themselves in you. That shared humanity builds connection. When you speak publicly or in conversation, watch the energy of your story. If it's too self-focused, it can turn into performance. But if it's centered on helping or connecting, it will feel generous. You can share something deeply personal and still be in service to others. The difference lies in your intention. Are you telling this story to be admired or to help someone else grow? The second option always builds more trust. Be mindful of timing. Not every story needs to be told right away. Some moments are still healing. Some lessons are still forming. Share what you've processed, not what you're still unraveling. Speaking from a scar is different than speaking from a wound. One gives wisdom, the other might give confusion. You don't owe your story to everyone, but when you're ready to tell it, do it with strength, not shame. People are craving honesty in communication. They're tired of filtered messages, corporate language, and empty motivation. They want to hear what's real. They want to hear that you've been where they are and that you found a way through. That's what gives your words credibility. That's what inspires action. That's what changes people, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. When you speak from your story, you speak from your truth. And truth always carries energy. It doesn't need to be loud. It doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be true. That truth, delivered with heart, humility and hope, has the power to move people in ways that logic alone never can. So share your story, share the lesson, share the moment that changed how you see the world. Speak with purpose, speak with care, and most of all, speak from the place in you that wants to connect, not just communicate. That is where trust is built. That is where inspiration begins. Chapter 12. Adapt your message to match your audience's needs. Communication is not about what you say, but about what others hear. If the message doesn't land, it doesn't matter how smart, passionate, or prepared you are. The ability to adapt your message to your audience is what turns good communicators into great ones. To adapt your message well, you must first understand who you're speaking to. That starts with listening, observing, and paying close attention. What matters to this person? What do they care about? What problems are they trying to solve? What level of knowledge do they have about this topic? What emotional state are they in right now? Are they overwhelmed, curious, skeptical, hopeful, defensive, excited? Every answer to these questions gives you insight into how you should shape your words. The goal is not to change your truth, it's to deliver it in a way that can be received. Empathy is essential. You must step outside your own perspective and step into theirs. What is it like to be in their position? What pressures are they under? What are they afraid of? What are they trying to protect? When you understand their world, your message can meet them where they are instead of demanding that they meet you where you are. That's how respect is built. That's how influence grows. When someone feels that you see them, understand them, and care enough to communicate in their language, their mind opens, their walls drop. They begin to listen. This does not mean changing your values or bending to everyone's opinions. It means being flexible with your delivery so your message reaches the person you're trying to help. Truth delivered the wrong way can feel like judgment or pressure, but truth delivered with care can feel like clarity and support. Your message is only useful if someone can receive it. That's why tone matters. That's why word choice matters. That's why timing matters. One message can be inspiring to one person and offensive to another, depending on how you say it. Being mindful of your audience protects the impact of your words. Every time you speak, you have a goal. That goal might be to motivate, to teach, to inspire, to persuade, to comfort, or to inform. But that goal only gets fulfilled if the other person receives what you intend. Adapting your message is not about manipulation. It's about precision. You are aiming your message like an arrow. If you aim carelessly, it will miss. If you aim with skill, it will land with power. You must also recognize the emotional and cultural context. What is appropriate in one setting may be completely wrong in another. The way you speak to a friend in a casual conversation should not be the same way you address a team in a high-stakes meeting. The way you speak to someone older may differ from how you talk to a younger audience. It's not about pretending, it's about respecting the context and adjusting to it. Clarity is a vital part of adaptation. Some audiences need simple, direct language. Others appreciate deeper analysis. Some need visuals. Others prefer stories. Some respond to facts and data. Others respond to personal experiences and feelings. Know who you're speaking to and adjust your method accordingly. If you overload someone with complexity when they need clarity, you lose them. If you oversimplify for someone who wants depth, they disengage. Matching your message to their needs shows emotional intelligence. It shows leadership. It shows that you care enough to speak in a way that matters to them. Pacing and rhythm are often overlooked, but incredibly important. If your audience is anxious or rushed, keep your message short and focused. If your audience is reflective and curious, take your time and go deeper. Speak at a pace that mirrors the energy of the room. Speak in a rhythm that respects their attention span and emotional bandwidth. This helps build a natural connection. People don't just hear your words, they feel your energy, and energy that adapts is energy that builds trust. Ask questions to test your message. Did they understand what you meant? Did they feel the intent behind your words? Did your tone match the situation? Pay attention to their facial expressions, body language, and reactions. Are they leaning in or tuning out? Are they confused or engaged? Communication is not a monologue. It is a living exchange. If something isn't working, shift your approach. Try different language, change your tone, use a new example. Clarity is more important than control. When speaking to groups, remember that you are often talking to multiple perspectives at once. In a room of 10 people, there may be 10 different emotional needs. The challenge is to find common ground. Start by connecting to a shared value or common goal. Speak to the heart of what unites them, then build outward. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Stay grounded in your message, but deliver it in a way that welcomes others in instead of pushing them away. The best communicators are students of human behavior. They watch how people respond. They notice what works and what doesn't. They are constantly learning how to reach more people more effectively. They never assume they have it all figured out. They ask for feedback. They pay attention to the subtleties. They stay humble and adaptable. This makes them not only better speakers, but better leaders. If you want to grow your influence, make adaptation a habit. Prepare for your conversations by thinking about who you're speaking to and what they need. Reflect afterward on what went well and what didn't. Study people, practice empathy, build your emotional awareness. These skills pay off in every area of life, at work, in relationships, in leadership, in service. Because when you can speak in a way that lands, you move people, and when you move people, you make things happen. Adaptation does not make your message weaker, it makes it stronger. Because when your words are crafted with care and delivered with precision, they don't just sound good, they create real change. Influence comes not from speaking louder, but from speaking wisely. The power of communication lies not in what you want to say, but in what others truly need to hear. Speak with that mindset and you will build trust that lasts. Chapter 13. Use clear structure to deliver your thoughts better. Clarity is the anchor of effective communication. Without structure, even the most brilliant ideas become scattered, easily dismissed, or misunderstood. A clear structure isn't about rigidity, it's about guidance. It gives your message a path to travel, a beginning to draw attention, a middle to deepen understanding, and an end to make the impact last. People don't remember every word you say. They remember how you made them feel, and the clarity with which your message landed. Structure is not a luxury for public speakers or professional writers. It is a necessity for anyone who wants to be heard, respected, and trusted in any conversation. When your thoughts are scattered, your words betray your intention. You may know what you mean in your head, but others are not inside your mind. They need your guidance. They need your message to unfold logically. People are constantly distracted. Their minds are overloaded. If you don't provide a framework, they will get lost. And once you lose them, it's hard to bring them back. Structure protects your message from getting buried under confusion or ignored altogether. It signals to the listener that you are intentional, that you value their time, and that what you have to say is worth their attention. To communicate with structure means that you are shaping your message with purpose. Begin with a clear point. One idea, not 5, not 3. 1. Define what you're actually trying to say. If you can't express your main idea in one sentence, you don't yet understand it deeply enough. The clearer you are with yourself, the clearer you will be with others. When you speak from a cloud of uncertainty, your message comes out foggy. But when you speak from a place of clarity, your message cuts through. Simplicity is not the absence of depth. It is the result of discipline. Once your central idea is clear, build around it with support. Think of your communication like building a bridge. The main point is the foundation. Your supporting ideas are the beams. Your transitions are the connectors. Each part should serve a function. Every word should earn its place. Avoid unnecessary tangents because they drain your momentum. A structured message gives your audience confidence that you're leading them somewhere worthwhile. They don't have to figure out your point. They can feel it taking shape as you speak. That's the power of organized thought. It respects both the speaker and the listener. Examples, stories, data, and metaphors all serve to strengthen your structure, but only when used intentionally. Don't throw in a story just because you have one. Don't quote statistics just to sound credible. Each addition should illuminate your core idea, not distract from it. The most powerful communicators are not those who say the most, but those who remove what is not essential. Structure is about clarity, not complexity. The fewer obstacles between your words and the listener's understanding, the more likely your message will land. Clarity also comes from transitions. People need to be guided through your ideas, not dragged. A smooth transition from one point to the next helps your message feel cohesive. It signals that you've thought this through. It shows discipline. Without transitions, your message feels choppy. You risk leaving your audience confused about how one idea connects to the next. But when you guide them smoothly from thought to thought, they follow you with ease. You create flow, and flow builds trust. It tells the listener, I've done the work to make this easier for you to receive. Before important conversations, think through your structure in advance. Not every word, but the order. What's your opening? What's the heart of your message? What supporting ideas will help clarify or reinforce your main point? How will you close? Having this internal map helps you stay focused and composed, especially under pressure. It reduces rambling, it increases precision, and it builds confidence. You don't have to memorize a script. Just anchor your mind to the structure. Then let your words flow freely within that frame. In casual conversations, you can still practice structured thinking. If someone asks your opinion, don't rush to speak. Pause for a moment, gather your thoughts, and speak with purpose. Start with a short summary. Offer 1 or 2 points of insight. Give an example if needed, then wrap it up clearly. This way of speaking may feel unnatural at first, especially if you're used to thinking while you talk. But over time, it becomes second nature. Your thinking becomes sharper, your words become more deliberate, and the people around you begin to notice the difference. When you communicate with structure, people not only understand you better, they remember you more. Your words stick because they followed a pattern that the brain could grasp. Our minds love patterns. We remember things that are presented in clear steps, clear stages, or clear images. If you want to be memorable, be structured. Say what you mean, support it with meaning, conclude with purpose. This is the architecture of compelling speech. Great leaders, teachers and storytellers all use structure with care. They don't ramble, they don't wander, they build. They understand that the listener's attention is fragile, and they treat it with respect. They shape their message, not for their own convenience, but for the audience's clarity. That's what makes their words powerful. That's what gives their voice authority, because people trust those who make complex things clear. They trust those who take the time to guide them through ideas in a thoughtful, organized way. It's easy to speak without structure. It takes little effort to talk in circles or dump a stream of thoughts into the room. But that's not influence. That's not mastery. Discipline begins with clarity, and clarity begins with structure. If you want your words to carry weight, you must take responsibility for how they land. That means crafting them, shaping them, delivering them with purpose. In every conversation, every meeting, every presentation, ask yourself, what am I really trying to say? What is the point I want to make? How can I express it in a way that's easy to follow and hard to forget? This is not about perfection, it's about intention. When you speak with a clear path, people follow you, they remember you, and they respect you for bringing order to the chaos of words. Structure is your ally. Use it with wisdom, and your voice will always rise above the noise. Chapter 14. Cut filler words that weaken your communication power. Powerful communication is not just about what you say, it's about what you remove. Every word carries weight, and when your message is loaded with unnecessary language, it loses its sharpness. Filler words are the verbal clutter that sneaks into your sentences when you're unsure, when you're buying time, or when you're trying to soften a point. Words like like, you know, just, actually, and basically dilute your clarity and reduce your authority. They often appear harmless, but over time they chip away at your credibility. They are habits formed out of comfort, not necessity. And as with all habits, they can be replaced with awareness and intention. When you speak, your words are tools. Think of your message like a chisel. Every precise word chips away at confusion and reveals the shape of your idea. But when you clutter your message with fillers, it's like dulling the edge of that chisel. You work harder to make less impact. It takes more time for others to understand you. They may even tune out before your message hits home. The goal is not to speak faster or louder. The goal is to speak cleaner, and that starts by cutting the verbal fat. Filler words often come from a fear of silence. Many people believe they have to fill every second of a conversation as if a pause is a failure. But silence isn't a mistake. It's a tool. A pause allows your message to breathe. It gives the listener a moment to absorb what you've said, and it gives you space to think clearly. Instead of saying, "So, like I was just thinking that maybe we could possibly consider," you can say, "I believe we should consider this option." The second version is clearer, stronger, and leaves no room for confusion. It communicates confidence, not hesitation. Eliminating filler words begins with awareness. You cannot fix what you don't notice. Start paying attention to how you speak in meetings, in conversations, or even in voice messages. Are you padding your sentences with vague or unnecessary words? Are you adding qualifiers that weaken your conviction? Are you repeating the same empty phrases out of habit? Once you identify the common fillers you use, you gain the power to replace them. Recording yourself is a powerful way to increase this awareness. Play back a conversation or a short presentation and listen with intention. Count how many times you say things like, you know, kind of, or I think. These phrases often slip in when we're unsure or seeking approval. But every time they show up, your message loses a degree of impact. Replacing these fillers with confident silence or stronger words changes everything. It signals that you are in control of your thoughts and that you trust your message to stand on its own. Practice is essential. Begin with short exercises. Choose a topic and speak about it for 1 minute without using any fillers. It might be difficult at first. You'll be tempted to fill the air, but push through that discomfort. Replace hesitation with pause. Replace rambling with clarity. Over time, you'll develop a rhythm that feels both calm and commanding. You'll no longer fear silence. You'll use it. Precision in language also builds trust. People are more likely to believe and follow someone who speaks directly. Vague or padded speech comes across as uncertain. For example, saying, "I just feel like maybe it could sort of work," signals doubt. But saying, "I believe this will work," communicates conviction. It doesn't mean being arrogant or rigid. It means choosing words that reflect clarity of thought. Language shapes perception. The more precise your language, the more people will perceive you as trustworthy and competent. Filler words are also time thieves. In professional settings, where time is limited, clarity is not a luxury. It's a responsibility. Every like, every unnecessary aside wastes mental energy for your listener. It forces them to sift through the noise to find your message. When you cut those fillers, your ideas land faster. Your audience doesn't have to work as hard to understand you. This creates a sense of ease, and ease builds connection. It's also important to understand the psychological impact of how you speak. People don't just listen to your words. They read your intent. They sense your confidence or lack of it. Filler words often signal insecurity or fear of being judged. They act as social cushions, protecting us from the discomfort of being direct. But in reality, they invite more judgment. When you stand behind your words with clean delivery, people notice you speak like someone who believes in what they're saying. And belief is contagious. In conversation, less is often more. The power of concise language is that it forces you to focus on the essence of your message. It requires you to think before you speak, to choose words that matter, and that mental discipline reflects in your presence. You don't need to speak for long to leave a strong impression. You need to speak with purpose, and that purpose is lost when hidden behind a wall of verbal hesitation. There is a calm strength in saying only what's needed. Great communicators don't speak to impress. They speak to express. They respect the listener's time and attention. Every sentence carries weight. Every word earns its place. This discipline in speech mirrors discipline in thought, and that inner discipline earns you the respect of others. Start observing speakers you admire, whether it's in a TED Talk, a podcast, or a conversation. Pay attention to how clearly they speak. Notice how rarely they rely on filler words. Notice the strength of their pauses, the intention behind their pacing. It's not about being robotic, it's about being intentional. Controlled speech feels authentic, not mechanical. It connects more deeply because it comes from a place of awareness. You don't need to eliminate every single filler word to be effective. You're human, not a machine, but reducing them dramatically will elevate how you're perceived. It will change how your message lands, and more importantly, it will reshape how you see yourself as a communicator. Each time you resist the urge to soften your point or fill the silence, you build confidence. You train your mind to stay centered. You teach your audience that your words are worth hearing. In a world overflowing with noise, clarity is power. Every filler word you remove brings you closer to that power. It sharpens your message. It deepens your presence, and it helps you speak in a way that cuts through distraction and lands with precision. Speak less. Say more. Use words as tools, not as padding. With every sentence, ask yourself, does this need to be said? And if so, how can I say it better? That is the path to powerful, lasting communication. Chapter 15. Challenge your beliefs to become a better speaker. Your beliefs shape your voice. The way you speak, the confidence you hold, the way your message lands, all of it begins in your mind. If you believe you are not good enough to speak, your voice will hesitate. If you believe your ideas don't matter, your words will carry less power. Becoming a better speaker is not just about technique. It is about examining the beliefs you carry about yourself, your voice, and your value. To grow, you must be willing to challenge the stories you've accepted as truth. Many people hold on to quiet beliefs that limit their communication. They tell themselves they're not charismatic. They think they're too shy, too awkward, or not smart enough to speak in public. These thoughts often began in childhood. A teacher criticized them. A parent dismissed their voice. A friend interrupted one too many times. Over time, these moments turned into internal rules. Rules like, I should stay quiet, or I'll mess up if I speak, or no one wants to hear me. These rules become invisible walls. You walk within them without knowing they're there. Until you question them, they define the edges of your voice. To grow past those limits, you need to pause and examine where those beliefs came from. Who taught you to doubt your words? What made you afraid of your voice? What events shaped your view of how you should speak? Once you become aware of those beliefs, you can begin to choose new ones. You don't need to keep carrying ideas that no longer serve you. You are allowed to change. You are allowed to evolve. And that evolution begins by facing the inner resistance you've ignored for too long. Speaking well does not begin with flawless grammar or perfect vocabulary. It begins with inner permission. You must give yourself permission to be heard. That permission is not granted by an audience or a mentor. It's granted by you. Until you believe your message matters, you will continue to hold back. You may rehearse for hours, but the words will still sound uncertain if you don't trust yourself. Trust is an inner agreement. It's a decision to show up, even when you're afraid. To challenge your beliefs, you need to act in ways that contradict them. If you believe you're not capable of speaking up, then speaking even in small ways is a powerful act of rebellion against that belief. Every time you speak your thoughts clearly in a meeting, you chip away at the idea that your voice lacks weight. Every time you share your opinion in a group, you push back against the fear that your ideas are unworthy. Growth begins when you behave in ways your old self thought were impossible. It's important to understand that discomfort is a sign of progress. Challenging a belief will always feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is not a sign that something's wrong. It means you're stepping into unfamiliar territory. You're leaving the safe zone that your old identity built for you. If you feel nervous when you speak, that's not a reason to stop. It's a reason to continue. The goal is not to be fearless. The goal is to act even when the fear is present. Notice the moments when you shrink your voice. Maybe you want to contribute, but stay silent. Maybe you soften your words to avoid confrontation. Maybe you speak quickly to avoid attention. These moments are all rooted in belief. What do you think will happen if you speak boldly? Will people reject you? Will they judge you? Will you embarrass yourself? These fears come from beliefs that can be challenged with experience. As you collect new experiences, your beliefs start to change. You start to realize that most of the outcomes you feared never happen. Start small. Speak up in situations where the stakes are low. Share your thoughts in a safe group. Ask a question in a classroom. Give an opinion during a casual conversation. Each time you use your voice, You build evidence that your old belief was wrong. You prove to yourself that speaking doesn't lead to disaster, that people can listen, that your thoughts have value. Over time, your mind catches up with this new reality. It replaces fear with confidence, doubt with clarity, insecurity with strength. Another way to challenge beliefs is to surround yourself with people who speak with purpose. Watch how they carry themselves. Listen to the way they express ideas. Let their behavior challenge your assumptions. Ask yourself, what would I say if I believed I deserved to be heard? What would I sound like if I trusted myself completely? Begin to embody that version of you in small daily ways. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be willing. You can also write down the beliefs that hold you back. Make a list. I'm not good at public speaking. People think I'm boring. I always mess up when I talk. Then challenge each one. Ask, is this belief absolutely true? Where did I learn this? What evidence do I have that contradicts it? Often, you'll realize that these thoughts are not facts. They're opinions, and like all opinions, they can be changed. Replace each limiting belief with a more empowering one. If your old belief is I'm not a natural speaker, replace it with I can become a strong speaker with practice. If your belief is people don't care what I say, try my words can help someone today. These new beliefs act like anchors. They keep you steady when doubt shows up. They remind you that growth is possible, even if it takes time. Speaking powerfully is not reserved for a few lucky people. It's a skill, and skills are built. The more you show up, the more your confidence grows. Confidence is not something you wait for, it's something you build through repeated action. Each time you speak, even if your voice shakes, you are shaping a new version of yourself. One who is brave, one who is clear, one who believes they belong. You will have moments when you stumble. You'll forget your words. You'll feel exposed. That's part of the process. Don't use those moments as proof that you should stay silent. Use them as evidence that you're growing. Nobody becomes a great speaker by staying safe. They grow by being honest, by facing discomfort, and by learning from every step. Challenging your beliefs is not just about speaking better. It's about becoming someone who lives with more presence, someone who trusts themselves, someone who has the courage to show up fully. That transformation doesn't happen overnight, but it does happen when you choose every day to be a little bolder than yesterday, to say what you mean, to trust what you know, and to believe deeply that your voice is needed, because it is. Chapter 16, Lead Conversations, by staying calm and focused. Staying calm and focused in a conversation is one of the most powerful skills you can build to lead others with clarity and confidence. Most people speak from a reactive place, jumping into conversations with emotional charge, scattered thoughts, or a need to prove something. When you are calm, your presence changes the tone of the entire room. People listen more closely to someone who speaks with collected energy. They feel safer, they feel more seen. Your calmness invites others to slow down, reflect, and engage with greater trust. Leading a conversation is not about dominating the space, it's about anchoring the space so others can show up more fully. This starts with managing your internal state before you even open your mouth. Every conversation brings a level of unpredictability. People may disagree with you, interrupt you, challenge you, or misunderstand you. If you allow yourself to be pulled emotionally by every shift in the moment, you lose your center. You speak from tension, defensiveness, or fear. But if you train yourself to pause, breathe, and refocus, you take back control, not of the other person, but of yourself. You create space between stimulus and response. That space gives you the power to speak with intention instead of reaction. Calmness is not weakness. It is strength under control. It tells others that you are not easily shaken, that you are grounded in your message, and that you are listening not just to respond, but to understand. People trust speakers who are steady. When your energy is erratic, people feel uncertain. When your presence is stable, people feel secure. Calmness builds credibility, and focus strengthens it. Together they create a presence that leads, not with volume, but with value. Being focused means you stay connected to the purpose of the conversation. Many people speak in circles because they don't know what they want to communicate. They drift from point to point, hoping to land on something useful. But great communicators know where they're going before they begin. They don't rush, but they also don't wander. They speak with direction. To do this, you must clarify your goal before the conversation starts. Ask yourself, what is the outcome I want here? What is the key point I need to express? When you know your focus, your words naturally become more clear and more compelling. When a conversation becomes emotionally charged, your first job is to remain steady. Don't match the intensity of someone else's reaction. If someone speaks with frustration or anger, your calm presence is a reset button. It brings the conversation back to a human level. Reacting emotionally only escalates the situation. But when you remain calm, you model what leadership looks like. You show that composure is possible even in the heat of disagreement. This creates space for resolution, not conflict, and that is what powerful communicators do. They build bridges instead of walls. One of the best ways to stay calm is to ground yourself physically. Feel your feet on the floor, breathe deeply, release tension in your shoulders and jaw. These may sound like small actions, but they have a big effect on your nervous system. When your body relaxes, your mind clears. You are better able to listen, to think, and to speak from your values instead of your emotions. Use these moments of grounding as a way to return to your center when the conversation feels unstable. Distractions are one of the biggest obstacles to focus in conversations. Your phone, background noise, your own inner dialogue, all of these can pull you away from the moment. When you are distracted, people feel it. They sense that your attention is split, and that damages connection. To lead a conversation, you must be fully present. Make eye contact. Nod to show understanding. Repeat key points to show you're listening. Presence is not a passive act. It's an active commitment to the person in front of you. The more present you are, the more influence you gain. There will be moments when people challenge your ideas. Don't let these moments push you into defensiveness. Instead, stay open. Ask questions. Clarify their perspective. Then respond with calm confidence. You don't need to prove anything. You simply need to express your truth with clarity and strength. That kind of communication builds respect. It also deepens connection, even with those who disagree with you, because when people feel heard, they are more willing to hear you in return. Leading conversations also means knowing when to guide and when to listen. Sometimes the most powerful move is not to speak more, but to pause and allow the other person space. Ask thoughtful questions. Reflect what you hear. Let the conversation breathe. Silence, when used with intention, invites others to open up. It signals that you're not just trying to push your point, but genuinely care about the exchange. This creates mutual respect and allows for a deeper and more honest dialogue. You don't need to control every part of the conversation to lead it. In fact, trying to control everything often makes things worse. True leadership in conversation comes from guiding the direction, not dominating the flow. Stay anchored in your message, but flexible in your delivery. Be clear about your intentions, but open to new perspectives. This balance of steadiness and openness makes you both confident and relatable, a powerful combination in any communication. As you practice staying calm and focused, you will begin to notice a shift. People will start responding to you differently. They'll listen more carefully. They'll follow your lead more naturally. You won't need to demand respect. It will be offered because people can feel your centeredness, and that energy is magnetic. It draws people in, not through force, but through presence. Remember, leading a conversation is not about impressing others. It's about impacting them. It's about making people feel seen, heard, and understood. That only happens when you're fully present, fully calm, and fully focused. These qualities are not talents, they are choices. Choices you can practice daily in small conversations and big ones alike. Every time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen your leadership. Every time you stay focused when things get messy, you deepen your impact. And every time you lead with presence rather than pressure, you become the kind of speaker people remember, not because you were the loudest, but because you made them feel clear, grounded, and safe to express themselves. That is the real power of communication. That is how you lead conversations with intention and influence. Chapter 17. Learn from feedback to improve your speaking daily. Improving your communication starts with the humility to accept that you're not perfect yet, and the courage to face what others truly experience when you speak. Most people avoid feedback because it feels like criticism. But in reality, feedback is a mirror. It reflects how your words land, how your presence feels, and how clearly your message gets across. If you're serious about becoming a better speaker every day, learning from feedback must become your habit, not just a rare event. You can't fix what you don't know is broken. You can't grow from what you're unwilling to see. That's why feedback, though uncomfortable at times, is your most honest teacher. You grow faster when you listen more. Real progress happens when you stop guessing what you think works, and instead pay attention to what actually connects. Whether you're giving a talk, having a conversation, or sharing an idea in a meeting, the people you speak to hold clues about what you're doing well and where you need to shift. Ask them, observe them, reflect on how they respond. Did they lean in or tune out? Did your words hit or miss? This isn't about overthinking, it's about becoming more aware, more intentional, more responsible for how your communication affects others. Start with simple steps. After a conversation, ask someone you trust. Was I clear? Did I come across as confident? Was I talking too fast or using language that confused you? Don't just ask for praise, ask for truth. Invite honesty and show people that you value growth more than comfort. When people know you're open, they'll be more likely to help you. This honesty becomes a gift, one that makes you stronger every time you receive it. Over time, you begin to crave clarity more than compliments. Every piece of feedback is information. It doesn't define you. It guides you. Separate your identity from your performance. Just because someone points out that your tone was too aggressive or your message wasn't clear doesn't mean you're a failure. It means you have an opportunity to refine. When you get defensive, you block the lesson. When you stay open, you gain wisdom. The best communicators aren't the most naturally talented. They're the most coachable. They treat feedback as fuel, not as a threat. You don't need to apply every piece of feedback you get. Some opinions won't be useful or relevant, but listen anyway, filter later. The key is to create a consistent practice of reflection. After every interaction, review it. What did I do well? What could I have done differently? Where did I lose clarity? Where did I create connection? The more often you do this, the more you train your mind to think like a communicator, not just a talker. Talking is easy. Communicating with impact is a craft, and every craft requires practice, feedback, and refinement. Record yourself speaking. Watch it back. It may feel strange at first, but it's one of the fastest ways to spot gaps in your delivery, tone, pace, and language. Do you sound rushed? Do you look nervous? Are your words aligned with your facial expressions? The camera doesn't lie. It gives you unfiltered data that your memory will miss. Use this tool not to judge yourself, but to understand how you show up. With every playback, choose one small thing to improve, and practice it until it becomes natural. Your audience is also your teacher. Pay close attention to their body language and energy when you speak. If you're talking to someone and they keep looking away, crossing their arms, or nodding without emotion, they're telling you something. Maybe you're being too vague. Maybe you've lost connection. Don't take it personally. Get curious. Adapt in real time. Ask questions. Re-engage. Make your message about them, not just about you. Feedback isn't always verbal. It lives in people's eyes, in their silence, in their reactions. Learn to read it. Chapter 18. Speak up in hard moments, with strength and clarity. There will be moments in life when silence feels safer than truth. When your voice shakes, when your mind spins, when speaking up feels like a risk you're not ready to take. These are the moments that define your strength. Anyone can talk when things are easy, but real communication begins when the stakes are high, when emotions are raw, and when the easy path is to stay quiet. If you want to grow into someone who inspires trust, leads with honesty, and stands with integrity, you must train yourself to speak clearly and powerfully in hard situations, not with anger, not with fear, but with calm, focused conviction. Many people avoid difficult conversations because they fear rejection, conflict, or misunderstanding. But avoiding the conversation doesn't remove the problem. It lets it grow in the dark. The more you delay, the heavier it becomes. Speaking up doesn't mean yelling or forcing your view. It means standing in truth. It means choosing words that come from a grounded place, not from anxiety or ego. The first step is to breathe. When your body is tense, your message becomes reactive. Center yourself. Take a pause before you speak. Calm communication begins in your body, not just your mind. Strength in hard moments is not loud, it's steady. It's about keeping your voice steady when you want to explode. It's about choosing clarity when your thoughts feel messy. This takes practice. Start by writing out your thoughts before a tough conversation. Get clear on what you really want to say. Remove blame. Focus on facts. Speak from your experience, not assumptions. Say what you mean without exaggeration. When you over-dramatize, you lose credibility. When you speak honestly, even the hardest truth can be received with respect. Clarity doesn't mean perfection. It means being as honest and focused as possible. One clear sentence delivered with sincerity can do more than a long, emotional speech. Get to the point. Say what's true for you. Don't mask your message behind vague words or soft hints. Be direct without being cruel. Speak with care, not caution. There is a difference. Caution keeps you hidden. Care brings you forward with empathy. In hard moments, people want to know where you really stand. Don't make them guess. Own your voice. You do not need to have all the answers to speak up. You only need to speak from your place of truth in that moment. If you feel hurt, say it. If you feel unsure, say that too. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is a bridge. When you speak with openness, you invite others to meet you there, but you must go first. You must risk being seen, risk being misunderstood, and trust that your voice matters even when it's uncomfortable. Most of the time, people respect honesty far more than silence. Rehearse difficult messages before delivering them, not to memorize them, but to hear how they sound outside your head. Use your real voice. Practice in the mirror or with a trusted friend. Notice your tone. Is it calm? Is it sharp? Adjust it. When you've said it once out loud, it gets easier to say it again in real time. The fear of speaking is often greater than the act itself. Once you begin, you often find that the other person is more open than you expected, but you'll never know until you try. In tense moments, ask questions before you respond. This creates space. It lowers defensiveness. If someone says something that stirs you emotionally, pause and ask, "Can you help me understand what you meant by that?" This slows the moment down. It gives your nervous system time to reset. It shows maturity. From there, respond with focus, not fire. Your message becomes more powerful when it's delivered with emotional control. You're not just reacting, you're leading the conversation with purpose. Hard conversations are not about winning, they're about understanding. Approach the moment with curiosity, not combat. Remind yourself that both people want to be seen, heard, and respected. You don't need to agree to listen. You don't need to fix everything to be present. Sometimes, all that's needed is a clear voice that doesn't back down. Courage is built by speaking up again and again, not waiting for the perfect moment. Say what you need to say, even if your voice shakes. That's how it stops shaking over time. Know your values before you enter difficult spaces. When you know what you stand for, it's easier to speak with purpose. You're not just reacting to pressure, you're responding from principle. This inner clarity gives you strength. You can be firm without being aggressive. You can be kind without being weak. The people who communicate best in hard moments are not the loudest or smartest. They're the ones who have done the inner work to stay grounded under pressure. Do that work every day. Meditate. Reflect. Know yourself. After the conversation, don't obsess over every word you said. Let go. You did your part. You showed up. You used your voice. That's the win. You will get better with time. You will learn what helps and what doesn't. The goal is not perfection. It's progress. Speak your truth more often. Face discomfort head on. Every hard moment you face is a chance to grow stronger, clearer, and more confident. Keep showing up. Chapter 19. Build daily speaking habits that boost your confidence. Confidence in communication isn't something you stumble upon by luck. It's built, refined, and strengthened through daily action. Like any skill, speaking well requires practice, not once a week or when you're forced to, but in small, consistent moments throughout your day. The more often you engage your voice with intention, the more natural it becomes to express yourself clearly and confidently, even under pressure. Confidence doesn't start with public speaking or big presentations. It begins in your morning conversations, in how you respond to a cashier, how you speak on the phone, or how you express ideas to a colleague. These simple moments form the foundation of powerful communication. Start your day by warming up your voice. Just like an athlete stretches their muscles, read a paragraph out loud, speak an affirmation, or describe your goals for the day aloud. Doing this activates clarity in your speech and wakes up your vocal presence. You don't need to perform, you need to engage. Let your voice become familiar to you. Many people feel awkward hearing themselves talk because they rarely practice outside of reactive conversations. Flip that script. Speak first to yourself so you can speak better to others. The next habit to build is conscious articulation. Many people rush their words or let them slur together, especially when nervous or distracted. Practice slowing down during conversations. Not only does this improve understanding, but it gives you time to think more deliberately. Intentional speech feels more trustworthy to others, and it teaches you to value your own words. Start by focusing on one conversation each day, where you deliberately slow your pace and speak each word fully. It could be a phone call, a video message, or even a voice memo to yourself. The goal is not to sound robotic, but to bring precision and control into your everyday tone. Record short messages daily. This could be a reflection on your mood, an idea you're working on, or a recap of something that happened that day. Keep it short. 1 to 3 minutes is enough. Listening to your own recordings helps you become aware of patterns, filler words, or habits you didn't realize were there. You start to hear yourself the way others do. Over time, you'll notice your rhythm, your tone, and your vocabulary sharpen naturally. This is one of the fastest ways to improve because it creates a feedback loop. You're speaking, reviewing, adjusting, and repeating. Another key habit is to seek out small opportunities to speak up in groups, even in casual situations. Whether it's commenting during a team meeting, asking a question in a class, or sharing your opinion in a group discussion, challenge yourself to contribute at least once a day. This doesn't need to be a long speech. One sentence shared confidently in a group helps you grow more comfortable using your voice publicly. The key isn't brilliance, it's consistency. The more you speak, the less intimidating it becomes. Curate your vocabulary over time by exposing yourself to great speakers. Listen to podcasts, speeches, or conversations where the communicator uses language effectively. But don't just listen passively. Pause, repeat phrases out loud, mimic the cadence, and try using those expressions in your own conversations. When you hear someone explain a complex idea simply, try rephrasing it in your own words. This isn't copying, it's integrating. You're training your brain to form sharper sentences and more compelling phrasing, even when speaking spontaneously. Build moments of silence into your speaking practice. Before you respond, pause for a breath. This may feel unnatural at first, but it teaches you that presence is more important than speed. When you're not rushing to fill every gap, your mind has time to settle into the moment, and your words become more intentional. People will notice your calm, and you'll begin to enjoy the feeling of having space around your thoughts. Even 5 seconds of silence can elevate the impact of what comes next. Establish a trigger habit for practicing speaking, something you attach to an existing routine. For example, every time you brush your teeth, take 60 seconds to speak aloud about your day ahead. Or during your commute, turn off music or distractions and use that time to rehearse an idea, message, or upcoming conversation. These tiny anchors keep your skill active without needing extra time. They fold communication practice into your life naturally, making it easier to maintain consistency. Seek feedback regularly, not just from mentors or coaches, but from the people you interact with. Ask a friend how your message landed. Inquire whether your point came across clearly in a meeting. Feedback isn't always easy to hear, but it's gold for growth. Be open. Don't defend or explain, just absorb. You'll start noticing themes that point you toward areas you can refine further. This reflection cycle is a vital habit for building confidence because it helps you separate your self-worth from your performance. You stop fearing mistakes and start chasing improvement. Treat every conversation as a chance to practice presence. Don't think of it as casual or unimportant. Whether you're talking with your partner, your neighbor, or a stranger, try to be fully there. Look them in the eyes, listen without distraction, and respond deliberately. These are the reps that count. These are the moments that build your speaking strength. The more mindful you are in ordinary conversations, the more confident you'll feel in critical ones. Build a habit of summarizing what you've learned or experienced at the end of each day. You can do this aloud to yourself in a journal or in a voice memo. By verbalizing your reflections, you train your brain to express complex thoughts clearly. You start organizing your ideas naturally, which makes it easier to articulate them under pressure later. This daily practice deepens both your self-awareness and your verbal expression. Confidence is not a personality trait. It is a practiced relationship between your thoughts, your voice, and your presence. It grows when you show up repeatedly, not when you avoid the moments that scare you. Build your habits like a craftsman, steadily, patiently, with care and attention. You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. You need to be the clearest. You need to trust that your voice deserves to be heard, and then build the habits that remind you of that truth every day. Chapter 20. Commit fully to lifelong growth through better speaking. Real mastery in speaking doesn't come from one breakthrough moment, a single viral video, or a perfectly delivered presentation. It's the result of persistent, intentional growth over years. It's the journey of paying close attention to how you express yourself, of being willing to unlearn what no longer serves you, and of stepping into discomfort so that your communication continues to stretch and evolve. To commit fully to lifelong growth through better speaking is to recognize that your voice is not fixed. It's fluid, capable of becoming stronger, clearer, and more aligned with your true self over time, if you choose to keep working on it. The desire to communicate with power and authenticity must be matched with the discipline to practice consistently, not only when it's easy or when the stakes are high. It must show up when you speak to your children, when you explain an idea to a friend, or when you clarify a boundary at work. These ordinary interactions are the training ground. They are the mirror reflecting where you've grown and where there's still work to do. Growth in speaking doesn't mean achieving perfection. It means gaining the courage to show up with intention, even when the words don't land exactly as you hoped. To truly commit to this path, you must be willing to reflect honestly on your communication habits. You must be curious about what creates impact and what causes disconnect. You must be open to learning from every conversation, especially the ones that didn't go the way you intended. Instead of labeling those moments as failures, treat them as feedback. They offer insight into how others experience your words, your tone, your energy. You begin to ask, not just, did I say what I meant, but did they feel what I meant? That question changes everything. It shifts your focus from output to connection. Growth through speaking isn't just about your voice. It's about who you become in the process of using it. You learn to manage your emotions better. You become more mindful of how others feel in your presence. You sharpen your thinking. You increase your ability to inspire, to guide, to support. Speaking forces you to articulate your beliefs and values, and in doing so you understand yourself more deeply. That self-awareness, when paired with the willingness to keep evolving, is the root of lifelong progress. The path isn't always smooth. There will be days when your voice shakes, when your words fall flat, or when you walk away from a conversation wishing you had said more or less. Those days are not setbacks, they are invitations. They push you to refine, to pause, to examine. Lifelong growth requires resilience. It asks you to keep showing up, even when it's uncomfortable. It asks you to hold space for imperfection while still striving for clarity and depth. And slowly, without needing to force anything, you become someone whose words carry meaning, not because they're rehearsed, but because they're real. To stay committed to your development as a speaker, surround yourself with people who challenge you to communicate more consciously. Seek mentors, not just for public speaking, but for presence. Learn from those who speak, not to impress, but to uplift. Engage with material that stretches your thinking, books, talks, stories that expound your understanding of human communication. Let your influences be those who embody courage and grace when they speak, not just in how loud they are, but in how honest they are, not in how flawless they sound, but in how deeply they connect. Set small but meaningful goals, not because you need to chase achievement, but because structure supports growth. One week, your focus might be to reduce interruptions in conversations. Another, it might be to practice pausing before you respond. Each target, though small, sharpens your awareness, and that awareness compounds. Before you realize it, you're not just speaking more clearly, you're thinking more clearly, you're listening more fully, you're stepping into conversations with intention, not just habit. Reflect regularly. After important conversations or interactions, take a moment to ask yourself, what did I learn? What would I repeat next time? What would I do differently? This kind of reflection builds agility. It helps you notice what's working and what's not without judgment. You stop being afraid of feedback because you realize it's the very thing that fuels your next level of growth. And as your mindset shifts from performance to progress, your fear of speaking lessens. You're no longer trying to get it perfect. You're trying to get better, and that's a far more sustainable, rewarding pursuit. Make room for silence in your journey. Growth doesn't always happen through more talking. Sometimes it's found in quiet observation, in watching how someone reacts when you pause, instead of pushing ahead, or in noticing the words that don't need to be said. Stillness teaches you how to listen, not just to others, but to your own inner guide. It helps you hear what's underneath the surface so that when you do speak, your words are charged with clarity and purpose. Be patient with yourself. This path is not linear. Some seasons you'll feel immense progress. Other times you'll feel like you're circling back to old habits. That's part of it. Don't confuse repetition with regression. Each time you revisit a lesson, you approach it from a higher level of awareness. What once felt like a struggle becomes a choice. What once felt impossible becomes second nature. That's the reward of staying on the path. And above all, remind yourself that your voice matters, not just when it's loud, not just when it's perfect, but every time you use it to express truth with care. The commitment to grow through speaking is really a commitment to live more consciously, to connect more deeply, and to lead with integrity. It's not a task, it's a lifelong practice, a choice you make every day to speak with presence, to listen with humility, and to keep refining how you show up for yourself and others. Not because you need to prove anything, but because you know that your voice, when aligned with your values, is one of the most powerful tools you'll ever have.